The S&P 500 is near an all-time record high, just a little bit back off of it that was set recently. Was Trump right? Is it time to actually have that conversation about whether the conventional wisdom was totally wrong about this?
You can certainly say Trump wasn't as wrong as they said he would be, and they spoke with certainty on these things. The certainty of the consensus, the certainty of economists, in quote, right? All economists know, Clay, that tariffs are going to be inflationary. All economists know that tariffs are going to rise prices. Maybe we should ask those economists what they really know, because that hasn't happened. And to be clear, they said it would happen. It should have happened if they were right away. And that is not what has occurred here. So once again, we have a situation where I think quite clearly Trump, just like on trade with China, decided that he was going to do something that was against not only the anti-Trump, Democrat, everything Trump does is bad so-called consensus, but even some in his own party, even some who are truly Trump voters and supporters were concerned about the trajectory of this. And meanwhile, it looks like the negative has not been really apparent at all. And the positive is also, on the positive side of the ledger, bigger than was initially anticipated, with $100 billion of revenue coming in via, on the tariffs. You've also got, right, inflation, 2.7% in June, which is in line with expectations. So staying right steady. And I know that they're now looking for, formally, Scott Bessent says, the Treasury Secretary, they're looking for a Fed chair to replace the current Fed chair, which I think is long overdue.
Well, look, if you told me, hey, what is the most bollocksed, there's a fun word, the most flummoxed part, there's another fun word, of our economy right now, I would say, and I bet most of you would sign off on this, it's mortgage rates. Because as a result of Joe Biden's inflation in 2021, we went from about 2.5% or 3% mortgage rates to around 7%. And as a result, the housing market's completely frozen in many respects. And as a result of the housing market being frozen, lots of you out there might be interested in moving, but because you have such incredible mortgages, you're not selling, you're not moving. That is the rate. Many of you out there would be interested in buying, but the housing market is frozen. And at 7% on some of these mortgages, you're looking around and saying, I just want to rent. This is another part where Trump is 100% right. Our interest rates are too high. They accelerated too rapidly without hardly any parallels historically because everything was wrong. Jerome Powell completely whiffed. Remember, he said inflation was transitory. They didn't raise rates fast enough. Then they overly raised rates. And right now, the cost of borrowing, particularly as it pertains to the average home, but also if you're buying a car, if you are paying credit card debt, it's all just too high. And we need, honestly, I think probably our interest rates are about 2 points too high. And if they would come back by about 2 points, I think you would see an unfreezing of the housing market, which would accelerate, I think, economic recovery and growth in a substantial way, to say nothing of businesses feeling more able to borrow money because the rate at which you're having to pay it back is not so high. So this all, to me, is interconnected because the reason why Jerome Powell has said he has not cut rates is he says the tariffs have a substantial inflationary impact. We have not seen that so far. I would just say, what has Jerome Powell done well such that we should be trusting his and other Fed governors' opinions on this vis-a-vis Trump? Because it seems to me Trump, if you want to criticize him, you can criticize him for lots of things. The guy understands interest rates in real estate better than maybe any president we have ever had. And I do think that he's right about the fact that our economy is not moving as rapidly as it otherwise would if we could get interest rates correct.
Look, the economy is something that, unfortunately, I think Trump is almost a victim of his own success with this. There's an expectation based on the first time Trump was in office, when he was still learning a lot more on the job and figuring out who his team should be. There was an expectation, once again, Trump would have a strong economy because he understands business. He understands what will get things going for all of us, right? The Democrats always focus on making it seem like there's some class warfare agenda in the Trump economic push, but really and specifically in the big beautiful bill, by the way, they look at what does this mean for the average American household's disposable income? What does this mean for small businesses that are still the economic engine of so much hiring and so much of GDP? So I think that this is so far so good with Trump. It's looking really, really strong. And it is a moment in time where he's not getting all the credit that I think he should, or that certainly he would if he were a Democrat, but that he should even for a Republican, because there have been some other things on the agenda lately in the news. And also, I think that Trump is expected to do well on the economy, right? The part of this that's, I think, a bit of a break or a break from the consensus or the expectation is when he does the things that they say on his own side are going to backfire, and it actually looks like it's working. That's the part of this that's pretty remarkable.
Now, yes, and if you want to argue on the flip side, they're going to continue to say, oh, the inflation pressure is coming, the inflation pressure is coming, and so that is what Jerome Powell basically is arguing. With that in mind, the prognostication markets, the prediction markets, have it fairly likely that in September we're going to get a rate cut. So that would suggest to me that the Fed is not as worried now about inflation somehow skyrocketing based on the tariff decisions. And it remains to be seen what exactly is going to happen with the tariffs. We've got now an August 1st date. There was a panic on Liberation Day back in early April. Stock market prices sold off substantially. I think Trump is emboldened by the recovery of the stock market prices to hold the line when it comes to trying to put in place good trade deals for the country. And I don't think he's pressured by the trajectory of the stock market like he might have been in April. Now, stock prices go up and down. They adjust constantly based on existing economic data. So there's still much to be seen. But I think it's very hard. Yeah. We said before the election, Buck, this was a three-prong election. Economy, border, crime. Just focused on those three. Economy, stock prices all-time record high, inflation back down, your paychecks are growing faster than the average inflation rate is, which means you have more money in your pocket. That's a very good thing. Border, shut down, deportation process underway. We've never had a more secure border. And crime. I think this is one story that you and I and a lot of people in media have not focused on enough. And I don't want to jinx things because summer is typically when the overall rates of violent crime increase. Kids are out of school. People have more free time. People are out in the streets more. They stay out later because the sun's up longer. We are potentially heading in 2025 for the lowest national murder rate that we have seen in a generation. Put cops back on the streets, let them do their jobs. The number of murders is collapsing all over the country because we now have police that are able to do their jobs because we have ICE agents deporting violent predators and criminals, and it's not getting very much attention. And I don't want to jinx it, but as we enter summer, we're staring down potentially a generational decline in violent crime in this country.
Yes, it turns out enforcing the law creates more rule of law. And also on the deportation issue, you're starting to see the ramp up is real. This has been promised all along by the Trump administration. And I think, Clay, part of the panic that we've seen and the really ineptitude of Democrats to get their footing going with any kind of messaging here is that the more they show people these immigration raids, the more clear it becomes that a big majority of the American people, including majorities of, forget about political party, Black Americans, Latino Americans, majority, want illegals deported. So they keep doing this old playbook of, if we just show, and we use the usual phrases about, oh, they're just hardworking. And no, actually, these are people that aren't supposed to be in the country, and the American people have decided that that's not going to be okay anymore.
Yeah.
And this is real. And Democrats haven't figured out how they're supposed to message this. The Abrego Garcia thing was a massive own goal for them, I think. If we all remember that one, the guy got sent to El Salvador, MS-13 guy, alleged. And sure enough, Clay, yeah, they're running low on areas to hit the president on.
No doubt.
Which is a good thing.
And by the way, the number of Americans, that is American citizens getting jobs, a lot of those Biden jobs, when you go back and look at them, were actually illegal immigrant jobs. The number of American jobs that have skyrocketed under Trump is also substantial. I think you're starting to see that impact. So all of that, economy in good place, border in good place, crime in good place, that was the three prongs that Trump ran on as his 2024 platform. And so far, he's delivering there in a big way. We'll break all this down for you, continue the discussion about what's going on in the border and the drama in the courts for sure. In the meantime, finding good health care coverage, not only difficult, but it can be time consuming. Something this important, you want to feel good about the decision you make. If you're in a full-time job with medical benefits, easy to accept the status quo, but maybe you don't have to settle for just any plan. There's a solution to finding good health care coverage called Ease for Everyone. It offers affordable health care for as low as $262 a month. You can keep your doctor, never pay a deductible, access over 400 prescription drugs for free. Go online to their website, see what plan is right for you and your family. Ease for Everyone, developed by forward-thinking experts located in my hometown of Nashville. Visit easeforeveryone.com/Clay to join today. That's easeforeveryone.com/Clay.